Hey everyone, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Fear the Walking Dead's Season 2 mid-season premiere. It's called Grotesque. I'm going to go into spoilers here, so if you don't want to get ruined on anything, though there's not much to ruin here, you can step away and then come back and listen to me talk all about Nick's solo adventure through the desert, his trek through the Badlands. As you recall, the ensemble got split apart, separated in the mid-season finale. And so now the show has three separate stories really going on, and this was Nick's solo adventure. Madison appeared in one of the flashbacks, but this was really just Nick's game. Him sort of facing down wild dogs and walkers and guys with guns. And although I say all that, and there was action on the show, this was also more of a quiet, reflective episode that The Walking Dead, as a franchise, because now it's Fear the Walking Dead, does well. And I kind of appreciate these episodes sometimes, and I especially appreciated this time alone with Nick, getting into his headspace a little more with the flashbacks that kind of revealed that he had a depressed father who probably committed suicide via head-on collision. And that causing Nick to sort of relapse and wind up in that church with his girlfriend, kind of where we picked up with him in the actual pilot episode of the series. Because I especially didn't like the way Nick was treated in the last two episodes, when he was falling in line with Celia's sort of line of BS about the walkers being special and the next divine evolutionary step in afterlife somehow, and him. I can understand him wanting to relate to death and to the dead and to want to be away from his family. I want to be away from his family most of the time, so I can understand Nick's death wish, or at least his self-destructiveness, because this was a guy who already resigned to sort of drop out of society and to sort of self-destruct before the zompocalypse even happened. This is someone who is probably depressed himself, so I understand that why he would want to be away from his family and why he'd want to sort of like pursue death, or at least not fight it. So getting into his headspace here and seeing how in times of crisis, he does try to survive. He does try to eat cactus and drink his own urine and do things to live when push comes to shove. But then he will also just sort of give in and not care if he gets shot while walking with a bunch of walkers and the bullets are whizzing past his head or shooting skulls right in front of him of zombies. And an episode like this, just spending this one episode with him, made me empathize a lot more with him than probably the first season and a half of the show, though he has been one of the most interesting characters along with Strand on the series, which is why I'm glad I got to see him get the flashback treatment, kind of like the way Strand got. But I like this episode overall. It's kind of like a palate cleanser, a nice time out. It holds promise for the show now that the family is split apart. Maybe they're a little more tolerable in these three separate storylines, because Nick certainly was, and because this is a family that certainly has not come together emotionally in the wake of the zompocalypse. They're, filled with bad decision making and infighting and a lot of frustrating things. So maybe now that they're sort of branched off into three separate stories, we can take them a lot more easily. What did you guys think? I gave the episode an 8. You can read my review on IGN, and as always, stay tuned to IGN for all things Fear the Walking Dead.